your strength and show me your weakness. We're in this together now. We're in this together now. Give me your love and tell me your secrets. 'Cause we're in this together now. Yeah, we're in this together now. No, 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 no. I'll keep you safe, I'll give you my everything. Even if we're falling down, even if we're falling down, all of me is yours, every part of me. 'Cause we're in this together now. You and me together now. What's the point of living if we're scared to lose each other? What's the point of living without you? Tell me now and I'll stop fighting. Tell me now and I'll stop breathing. I don't want to be here without you. Without you. Without you. Without you. Without you. No, 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 no. I'll be your light, I'll keep you from darkness. Even when the sun don't shine, even when the sun don't shine, give me your strength, show me your weakness. 'Cause we're in this together now. You and me together now. What's the point of living if we're scared to lose each other? What's the point of living without you? Tell me now and I'll stop fighting. Tell me now and I'll stop breathing. I don't want to be here without you. Without you. Without you. Without you. Without you.
Yo! Ooh, that might have been that may have been a bit loud. Now I'm trying to stream high through Ecamm today, so let me know if there's any buffering or anything. It's saying excellent coming through here, so I'm curious to know if it's all okay. Let me know how the audio is as well, because I'm curious to know how that's all working. Yeah, because I think Ecamm has multiple ways you can record or output, and I'm on the actual high quality video mode, so if it becomes an issue I can turn that off. So let's see how it goes. We are still in pre-show for a couple of minutes anyway. Let me I love how there's already a downvote. I love it. It's always starting before I even start it. Ooh, here we go again. I can't show the label because you can get demonetized, I think. All right, you ready for the ASMR? Yeah, it's come out with a warning there, but I don't know if it's affecting it. Hang on, here we go. You ready? I should put some echo on. Here we go. Got my Vegas bottle opener here, which I got at WPPI, which is just about WPPI time again, coming up, isn't it? Now, to let you know too, I'm streaming with the A7S3, and I've got the 24 GM 1.4 lens there. Oh, I forgot to open the backup. And that's what I'm streaming with today, and I'm using Ecamm. Now let's go through the chat too to see who's here. Michael saying the legendary. Michael, thanks. Shadows of Smoke said hello from Chicago, Nashville. Gilbert's here as well. G'day, Gilbert. How are you? Altric's also saying, hey, g'day, Altric. John Drummond's here. Hello from New York City via Washington, DC. You're visiting there. Hero said, oh my God, I got a notification. Laugh out loud. Yeah, no, I gave 2 hours notice, so perhaps that's the thing that was different this time. They're all just saying hello to each other. Chris is saying time for a Corona. Well, I'm not drinking that. I'm drinking something else, but I can't show you. These stupid rules that they keep bringing up, honestly. Altric's just saying hello to everyone. Everyone's just saying, John said the audio is fine. What else? Smash the like button, Gilbert said. Thank you so much, Gilbert. Yeah, it does make a difference. So if you can, that would be great if you could smash that like button. Alien Drone said, hi from Oregon, expecting a new 85 from Sony. So they've got to be releasing that soon. I expected that all last year, the 85. You know, I'm expecting an 85 1.2 GM, so I still think it's going to happen soon. It's one lens that they're missing out on. That, you know, the other 85 definitely needs to be updated. So I'm surprised that they keep releasing other lenses, which we'll talk about today. Some other things coming up, but yeah, they haven't done that 85 yet. It's got to come. Gilbert just said everything was all good. Mark said hello from Austin, Texas. Modfilm said hi, Dave. Colin from Cairns as well. Andrew said photography, the Minolta man. Hello from England. How are you, Andrew? What's coming out to the UK? Look, the reason why we were going to do big travelling was because Kerry is probably going to be retrenched. It's a good thing because she will get a decent payout, but we thought that it was going to be around about March this year. But now it looks like they've had a meeting the other day, and it looks like now it's going to be held off until January next year. Because we want to come out for a fair while. We've got a thing where we're thinking we might go to Iceland, and I may even do like a meetup and organise all this early, and people may want to join us. But I was thinking that we might go to Iceland and around that area, and then do a little bit of Europe, and also stay in the UK for a fair period of time. But we need to wait until Kerry has actually been retrenched to do this. So it looks like now it's going to be January. So the people that I've been saying we are coming to the UK and stuff, we still are, but it's been held off because they've held off with Kerry's retrenchment. I was upset because I was dying to go. Well, we'll get there, but it's just going to be next year. So, Andrew, we will be out there. Can you say the brand without showing it? No, I can't. I don't think you're allowed to, John. I don't think you're allowed to at all. It's the stupid, I don't know, it's these new rules that have come up. I've got to be careful I don't turn it around. Oh, I love it. Altric's just saying hi. What else have we got? Any other questions here? Gilbert said, I've got a fake 24 GM. Haha, the Sigma 16. That's a nice lens, actually. Many greetings from Denmark, Jess said as well. Altric said he's itching for the A9 III announcement. Yeah, sometime this year as well. Modfilm says Iceland, I'm in. Yeah, it's going to be, like I said, I'm going to be doing quite a trip there, I think. But it'll be hopefully reasonably early next year. And Gilbert said, good to see you when you come over. I certainly will be seeing you, Gilbert, because we'll be going up to Preston to see my auntie. Modfilms says, 150 lashes. How did you... Well, I'm not saying anything. Okay, so, wow, that was probably loud. Let's get started with the news today, because there's some interesting stuff actually going on. So let's go to that and start going through this, and then you can throw in some questions if you have any questions or anything like that. We'll look at it a little bit later. But the CP Plus is happening on February the 23rd. So it's not long. It's only a week or so away or so. What's today's date? I think it's the 18th, isn't it? Yeah, 18th. So it's only a few days away. So it looks like there's going to be some announcements probably going to happen at CP Plus. And it just says in here that next week the big CP Plus show will open. Like I told you many times, Sony will announce a new camera, and there will be plenty of new lenses. So what they're saying here is that they're going to have a 51.4 GM. Now, I noticed that that's now been leaked. Where did I see that? I might as well bring it up now. So this is the 50mm 1.4 GM lens. Interesting, I suppose. If you don't want the 1.2 and you want to save a bit of money and weight, this could be a lens that you go for. 1.4 is still really nice. It'll be interesting to see how this compares to the GM version. So I think if I had the money, I probably would still go to the 1.2 just because of the fact that you can really open that up. But let's wait and see what the results of this lens is when it's released. It's saying that it's going to have 11 blades for the aperture, weather sealed, no in-lens stabilization. You shouldn't need it for that size lens anyway, really. Price in Europe is 1,850. That's 430 euro less than you'd pay for the 51.2. So it is a fair bit of difference, isn't it, if you look at that? I mean, that's probably 20,000 Australian dollars. So it's a fair bit of money. So if the quality is really good, and I'm sure being a GM version of lens, this will be a really good lens. And like I said, it's probably also going to be a lot lighter. They're not saying about the size and everything else. Like I said, even from my point of view, if I had the money, I probably still would go for the 1.2 if you had the money. But boy, you could buy another lens for 450 euro, decent Tamron or something that you could probably get without it. Not having stabilization, because the camera has stabilization built in, it's not really that big an issue, I don't think. Look, if you're shooting video, handheld video, it would make a difference because that's how you get your 5-axis. So it would be an issue, I suppose, or it might help if you have the lens stabilization. But I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't worry about it personally. But it looks like it's going to be a great release, and amazing that Sony is releasing another lens. But Sony, where's the 85? It looks like it's going to be a 67mm filter thread, which I adore because all of the ND filters that I have from Freewell and the Peter McKinnon ones, all that are all 67mm. So it's great that, that's still 67, so I don't have to change NDs, which is terrific. This would be a great videography lens, particularly on a gimbal, I think. But anyway, that's it. That's that. What else are they looking at? I haven't read these, so I'm looking at it with you guys together. I just look at the heading, and then I thought I'll go through it all with you together. It's February the 21st at 3 p.m. in London, and they're going to announce that 50mm 1.4 GM. Well, we've already seen that. The 16 to 35mm GM2 and the new ZV full frame, is that full frame, camera are likely to be announced in March. So it looks like they're saying we're going to get a new ZV camera, but they're saying that's full frame. Will likely be announced in March, so it's a little bit further on. Well, not much further, is it? Also, in February the 22nd as well, Tamron will announce a new lens. Unclear if it's an X or Z mount version of the current E mount lens, or if this will be a completely new lens. And I'm going to talk about Tamron lenses in a minute, actually. Out of note, it's interesting that they're already replacing the 16 to 35 GM. I mean, it's not that long ago that was released, the original version of that, so that's probably going to be incredible, that lens. For them to update that lens so fairly soon after that is interesting. Like I said, I just don't understand why they're not bringing out an 85 or a 100. It's interesting. Also, next week, or in March. It's unclear if Sigma will announce 3 new E-mount lenses, and I'm going to talk about the Sigma lenses soon, so we'll go through those in a minute. It's also saying what's sure is that we are going to see a new 17 f4, 50mm f2, and 23 f1.4 lens. And like I said, I'll talk about that as well. Voigtlander, Tokina, and Samyang, and Lauer, and others. I have no rumours about other E-mount lenses coming from those manufacturers, but it might be that we are going to get something new from next week. They're also saying it's unclear if Sony will announce a new firmware, and I'll talk about that in a second for the A1, because this is also interesting coming out. So we might jump to that straight away, actually. They're saying here that apparently there was a leak of this being an update for the A1 is available. It's not there yet, apparently, or it might be now. I haven't checked. But it looks like there's going to be an update for the Sony A1. Now, I'm hoping for all those people that paid that crazy amount of money for the A1 that, you know, they get some of those features that have been released in other lenses. Your focus breathing, for instance, is a typical one that, you know, should be added into that, definitely added into that camera. So I'm hoping that they give a little bit of love for that. And that's going to be released soon. So I hope Sony don't hold back. I mean, you know, you've paid an awful lot of money for that, and you can get extra features in the A7 IV that, you know, you can't even get in the A1, which is just ridiculous. So I'm really hoping that that's coming out. It does say down here that no idea if this means anything, but I opened the Imaging Edge today, and in the news section data today it announces the A1. So it was in the Image Edge website. The link takes you to the firmware update page, but it's still the previous version. So it's not available yet, but it's obviously coming. So that, you know, if you've got an A1, hopefully all your prayers will be answered. I hope anyway. Tamron. Now, Tamron announcing, or well, they will apparently announce soon a 20 to 50mm f2 lens. I don't know if these are true yet. This is going to be interesting. I'll come back, Andrew. I will answer these questions shortly. The 20 to 50mm f2 is one that's sort of rumoured to come out. There's a whole stack in here: 24 to 110 f4, 28 to 100 2.8, 28 to 120 f4, 28 to 30, 35, 40 to 50 are their primes. F1.4 primes, 60mm f2 macro, 70 to 100, 130 f2. Wow, some of these lenses, I can't wait to try them if it is real. 90mm f2.8 macro. That's great because the Sony macro, the f2.8 90mm is amazing, that lens. So I'm sure now, that's fairly old too. I'm sure now if Tamron release a macro lens, that is going to be amazing. So that's one that does excite me actually. In the blue, these are lenses that Andre has excited about, but I'm quite excited about a 90mm macro. This could be also very interesting too, 135 f1.8. It'll be interesting to see how that compares to my GM version. And that's something I'll be able to do a direct test comparison against. So that is going to be fascinating. The 150mm f2.8 macro, 180. Wow, so they're certainly releasing some macros here. 3.5 macro, 350mm f4.5, 200 to 400mm f4, 200 to 800 5.6. So that's all the full frame lenses that hopefully, you know, may be coming out. APS-C, we've got the 13mm f1.8, 18 to 55 3.5 to 5.6, and the 18 to 500 3.5 to 6.5. I used the Tamron, what was it, the 50 to 400. I used that extensively in the last couple of weddings that I've done, and I absolutely loved it. I've had to send it back. I sent it back yesterday, actually. But I must do a review on that and show some of the images that I took with it, because to have that zoom range is just extraordinary. Kerry loved it. She used to use the 70 to 200, but having 50 to 400 mil gives you opportunities that you could just dream of, that you can really stand back and then get really nice zoomed images, and the quality is great. You can also get very, very close as well with the 50mm. So a wedding lens with that was brilliant. So Tamron are really kicking some goals. They really are. Let's look at the next one too. There's also some rumours about Sony as well, that the 800mm f5.6 lens is coming in 2024. So that's also pretty cool, but it's a bit of way off yet. But, I suppose a lot of wildlife photographers and people like that would love that lens. It's going to be interesting to see what sort of quality and weight that's going to be. There might be a 300mm 2.8 GM and an 800mm 5.6 GM in 2023. As you obviously see, he was right on the 300mm because that's already been announced. So maybe Sony will announce the new 800mm 5.6 lens sometime in 2023, and then will be available in 2024. So that's really interesting as well. Now, Sigma here have also, there's leaked rumours or specs that there's going to be a 17mm f4. What else have we got? A 50mm f2 and a 23mm f1.4 are to be announced soon. Now, they're saying here that the 17mm f4 lens is full frame. It's going to have 9 elements and 8 groups. The shortest shooting distance is 12 centimeters. Maximum magnification is 136. Filter diameter is 55 millimeters. So it's nice and small. The size is 64 millimeters by 48.8 millimeters. Weight is only 225 grams, so this is really cool. And it's got a magnetic lens cap. The 50 f2, remember that's an f4 lens too, so it's not, a really wide lens. The 50mm f2 has 11 elements in 9 groups. You can the shortest shooting distance is 45 centimeters on that one. Maximum magnification is 169. That's got a 58mm filter thread. So again, it's quite small for an f2 lens. The weight on that one is 350 grams. And the 23mm f1.4 has 13 elements in 10 groups. This looks like it'll be a really nice lens. Shortest shooting distance is 25 centimeters. Maximum magnification is 173. Filter size is 52, so it's still a really nice small lens. And the weight is 340 grams. Mount, L mount, Sony E mount, and Fuji X mount. Boy, are we blessed now with Sony lenses, and they just keep coming and coming and coming. It is nuts how many lenses that we have now. With Tamron, Sigma, Samyang, it just never stops. It's just amazing. We have so much choice. So that's all there is. It's like I said, it's probably not going to be a long show today, but we can open it up for Q&A now and see what people are saying, or if they have any questions of anything. Let me just have a drink. Let's have a look down what people are saying. I love how Gilbert says it will be smaller than the Sigma. Yeah, I'm sure it will be, Gilbert. Most lenses are smaller than the Sigmas, that's for sure. Altric says, I'm looking at the 51.4. Let me go down here. What else? Jess said, I prefer a smaller GM 51.4. Okay, see, and that's what a lot of people are saying, may think too. They would prefer a smaller version of the GM lenses, because if you're carrying that around all day or on a gimbal, it's a big difference. Let's keep coming down. The 55 Zeiss is a beautiful thing. Yep. It's right here. Look at this. Isn't that funny? Ooh, ooh, ooh. I love this thing. That video that you shot here, this video, I'll just play it for a second, was all shot on the 50. It was shot with the A7 III. This is the intro video. It was shot with the A7 III, and it was shot with the 55, the whole lot. So I'll just play it for a second for people that have come in after that. But just have a look at the quality that you're getting from this lens.
your strength and show me your weakness. We're in this together now. We're in this together now. Give me your love and tell me your secrets. 'Cause we're in this together now. Yeah, we're in this together now. No, 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 no.
So yeah, that was all with this lens. It was on the A7 III. That was when the A7 III was first released, actually. So I did that video when it first came out. So this lens, I would never sell this lens. I love this lens to death. It's light, it's small. You take the lens cap off, and it's amazing. This is just for if I'm doing manual focus on my gimbals. That's there, but I don't know. There's just something special about this little lens. It's really underrated, probably. I mean, look, it's not as sharp. It's not as sharp as the new GM lenses. But if you looked at the video, it's a pity because you can't see it in the quality that I see it. But the image itself, the rendering, the background rendering, and everything in this, the color was just beautiful, and it's beautiful from this lens. And the autofocus is terrific. That was all just done with autofocus. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a great lens. It really is. Like I said, it may not be as sharp as a GM, but it's still sharp. I mean, no one will ever say that lens isn't sharp. There's a little bit of chromatic aberrations there, but who cares, honestly? I just love it. So I agree with you, Gilbert. That is a really special lens. Aldrich said, looks like the A1 will be getting a firmware update soon. Yep, and we discussed that as well. John said, yeah, the Alpha A1 needs an update, all right. Mod Film says, I think there was a rumour the A7S III firmware update in February. I hope so. It still really makes me angry that that you're still paying that much money for that camera and they haven't given us things like, that focus breathing compensation. We should get that at least. It's ridiculous. Now, I better read this one first. Rob said, I got rid of my 16-35 f4 and replaced it with a Sigma 14-24. Well, okay, cool. I still have the 16-35. I really like that lens. Even though it's only f4, for a wide lens, that's ample. I like it. What do you think about the Sigma, Rob? Are you happy with it? Now, Andrew said, Can I please ask for your advice as I'm on a tight budget and need to update my 10-year-old PC? I'm considering a new Mac Mini over PC. Is this wise? Yeah, they look great, Andrew. Just make sure, though, that you get enough RAM on that machine. Put as much as you can afford. I wouldn't worry too much about the hard drive space because I think you can always add Thunderbolt drives onto the computer and then it's fine. So I would be more worried about RAM. So if you can, try and put at least 32 in. See, the difference between the M1 Max and, say, PCs or anything you build yourself, you can't add RAM later on. It's actually soldered onto the motherboard. So whatever you do, try and put as much RAM in as you can afford. Hard drive space, like I said, it doesn't really matter too much. RAM is the more important thing. Hope that answers your question there, Andrew. John said, how about animal IAF in video for A1 wildlife shooters? Yeah, that's a good point, John. Exactly, yeah. There's things I forget about because I haven't got that camera. Gilbert said, about time we had a new macro lens. Samyang keeps saying they are bringing one out too. I know it is. It seems to be one area where they really haven't brought out much. They've replaced a lot of other lenses, but they haven't really touched the macro side of things, which is a bit weird. A lot of lenses now too. I know it's amazing. Canon shooters stuck with no third-party lenses. I don't understand Canon with that at all. You know, I really think that's stupid of them to do this. They should have licensed that lens mount, and then they would have made money anyway. Look, I suppose that's me saying that, but they're probably happy with the amount of money they're making. They're still number one out there, so I mean, they're getting a lot of money from lenses, aren't they? That's for sure. Whereas I suppose Sony would miss out on some of the lens sales, but I'd love to know your opinion about that. Do you think it's silly of Canon doing that? I do, but I suppose there's two sides to it. Going back to last week, would anyone seriously buy a Canon? I'm interested in Canon, love them, but I admit jealousy of Sony's lens selection. Yeah, I know it's silly, John. I don't understand what's going on there. Dana, g'day, buddy. How are you? There is something special about 55. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love that lens, Dana. Will Sony or Nikon answer the R8? There's no other full-frame body with those specs at that price point. We talked about that last week, John, and I think they're going to have to eventually. The problem is you're locked in a lot of the time, remember? You sort of, once you buy all the lenses and everything else, you're locked in to that system. It's very hard to just switch, and I don't recommend it really unless you really have to. But remember, you can put an adapter on the R8 and then you can use all of the old EF lenses, and apparently they work very, very well. So let's not forget that aspect of it, that yes, you can't use any third-party lenses, but you can use, well, I don't know if they'd work with an RF adapter. They may, I don't know. But you can use an RF adapter on it and work that way. So Gilbert said, hey, the new ZV full-frame camera may be it. It could be. Yeah, we don't know that yet. You think Sony will update the 90 macro? They should, Altric. Look, it's still a great lens. Now, the thing with it too is that a lot of the time, whenever I shoot macro, I don't care if it's automatic because I always shoot manual focus anyway. So, but there is a lot of people that will use it. Say for instance, they brought out, excuse me, say for instance, they brought out an updated 90 that also had amazing autofocus. The problem with the current one is the autofocus is very slow. Now, if they brought out a 90mm that was also a great focusing lens, it would be a great portrait lens. And that's something that you could consider, that you could use it as a macro, but also as a great portrait lens. Because a 90mm lens would be great if it, had the quality. The 90mm, the current one, is incredibly sharp, but the focus sucks. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but perhaps they're just saying to Tamron, you do it. Remember, they do get a kickback from Tamron anyway. I like the Sigma 14-24. I would have preferred the 12-24 GM, but that is $4,000 in Canada, so I went with the Sigma. I probably didn't need it because I already have the 14mm GM for wide angle. Yeah, it's interesting. I can understand what you're saying there. I probably would have gone, I probably would just use primes, but that's me. I probably would say just have the 24 GM as well, but you've got the 14-24 is a nice lens, but yeah. I mean, they are expensive if you're talking about Canadian. I mean, it's 4,000 Canadian. Let's have a look. With the Sigma, I have the 14-400 in 3 lenses with no gaps. Cool. Andrew said, thank you. When you do come to the UK, please don't stay down south. You must come up to the north. I will be. Well, we'll be doing the whole of the UK. I also want to go back to Scotland, Andrew, as well. So I will be going up to a stack of different places. We'll be travelling this time most of the UK, I think, because we'll be staying for quite a while. EF lenses, even third party, aren't very well. EF lenses, even third-party, adapt very well to RF. Oh, okay. I think Canon are banking on that while they build out their native RF lineup. Yeah. See, this is the issue. The lenses aren't cheap. You haven't got that ability like we have in Sony that you can buy a great full-frame body and then save a little bit of money on some decent lenses by getting the third-party lenses, and that's the thing, the difference between the two. That's why there's no way I would move over to Canon, because I'd be forced to buy those, very, very expensive lenses. I suppose I could, like I said, you could go to EF lenses if you wanted to. Andrew said, thank you. When do you visit the UK? Please come to Yorkshire. Yeah, you won't be disappointed. I certainly will come up that way. I think I went there last time, Andrew, actually, because I went to York and stuff. That's all that area, isn't it? But I think it is anyway. So is there any more questions before we finish for the day? And then I'm going to go and have lunch. Kerry's here putting together a cupboard, actually, out there at the moment. in the laundry. So if you've got any other questions, fire away. Otherwise, I'm going to switch off. Now, I have got a couple of reviews coming up in the coming days. I've got a great light system that's been sent to me and some great reflectors. So I'll be reviewing that. There's another little light I'll be doing, and also an iPhone one I'm going to be doing too, some filters and stuff for it, which look really cool. So that'll be coming up probably this week, actually. So stay tuned for that. There'll be a few videos popping up from there as well. Love it if you could give me a thumbs up too, guys. I'm looking up there. It would make a big difference, so please do that. Like and share, obviously. That makes a big difference as well. Let me see if there's any others. Rob said I have the 14 to 24, 20 to 4 to 105, and the 100 to 400 are my three zooms, plus a small herd of fast primes. Looks like you have a great setup there and covered the complete range, Rob, which is terrific. All right, everyone. Well, that's it for today. And I'll see you in the next video. Let me just answer Joseph. How about the 60 macro for crop sensor? Yes, that's fine. I use a 60 on my APS-C. I think I've got to try and remember what the brand is. It is a third-party lens manufacturer. If I can remember, I'll put the link down below, or I'll try and remember it for next week. But yeah, I use a 60mm macro as well, and I think it's seven Artisans. I think, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it is one of those. So, all right, everyone. Catch you all in the next show. So I will be back next week. And have a great weekend, everyone. See you later. Bye for now.
If you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you everybody's standing in a line for the water slide. You can come on over. We can take the roller coaster. And you know everybody's looking for a ride in the water slide. Water slide. Surfing on a wave of good feelings. Well, it's just another Friday.